Hello artists, let's talk about what we're going to do today. Make sure that your drawing is finished and Sharpied. You're going to get some primary paint, primary plus white. So primary colors, of course, are red, yellow, and blue, and then white for some tints. I'm going to start with a small brush, and your first job is just going to be to paint in some areas of color. So I'm going to use my small brush because I can go really close to my black line to kind of start to fill in some areas. We want some areas of color that are really flat. So we're going to paint to try to not make it like blobby. We want some nice solid color. So I chose to do my hair. I'm going to do one side with this yellow, and then I'm going to mix a tint for the other side. So we're just carefully painting in section. So for me, I like to use a little brush for this. Something else you could do is get a bigger brush that's like flat, and that's going to help smooth out areas of paint where you have bigger sections. That wouldn't work, of course, so well with smaller sections, but you can see, I hope, that it's starting to smooth out some of those sections. So in between colors, I'm just going to wipe it off. That should be enough. We don't need to get water for this. I'm going to make a different color of yellow for the other side of my hair. So to do that, I'm going to start with a little scoop of yellow, and then I'm going to take a scoop of white, and I want to make sure I mix enough paint that it's going to fill that area, right? Because if I make it not enough, I'm going to have to try to mix the same color again. So I still have this really vibrant yellow, but it's just a little bit more pale. So I'm going to use that on this side just for something a little different over there to give it a little more value. I'm going to switch to my big brush a little bit to get some of this nice and flat. So the goal today is to get some areas painted in nice and flat with color. Now you're not going to paint in everything. We're just going to do where we want to paint. The places where we want to put the dots, we're going to wait and do that next time. So make sure that those colors are painted in. I'm going to pause and do more of mine so you can get an idea of how to decide what to paint in. All right, artists, so I have painted in the areas that I would like to. I'm going to leave my face blank because that's an area that I decided I wanted to do with some dots. So we're done painting, and now we're going to talk about printing. So the difference is that when you paint, your tool moves on the paper, okay? When you print, your tool just moves up and down. So I'm going to choose a color. I think I'm going to actually make a little bit more of a pinky color to use for my face. So I'm going to use a little bit of red and then a little bit of white to make just a little bit lighter pinky color. And I want to make sure I have enough so I don't have to try to remix it again. So I'm going to use that color to print with. So I'm going to touch my eraser to the paint, and then to print, we're just going to press down and lift up. So you don't have to print inside your face, but that's just how I chose to include the Ben-Day dot look. And it looks like I'm starting to run out a little bit of my red already, so I'm going to borrow a little bit darker. You can always do different colors when you print. The goal is we're trying to keep our dots very organized. We don't want to just go crazy and just dot everywhere. We want to take our time so that it doesn't look rushed and it doesn't look like they're everywhere, right? We don't want it to be crazy. We want it to feel like it was intentionally placed. So I think I'm maybe do dots for half of my face. That's just my design choice. And some are darker, some are lighter, but they're all very organized and applied thoughtfully. They're not overlapping. All right, I think I got about half of my face covered. I'll make a plan with what to do next. So I do like kind of just like half of the face look. Maybe you want to do something different, but I do want to add some more dots. I'm going to put them in my background space because I think I need a little bit more color back there. So I'm going to continue to, in a very organized way, put my dots. When I say in an organized way, I mean that I'm thoughtfully placing each dot. So I'm just going to do red dots, I think, but you have the option to do whatever colors you want. And I understand this may not be your favorite style, okay, but this is the type of art we're looking at, so that's why we are using this style. So find a way to include the Ben-Day dots in a way that you like, so your art can still follow the directions, but also be something that you enjoy. I'm going to finish up my dots here. Running out of my red, trying to make it last. I think maybe I might want to do a couple more light red. So maybe I'll just mix a little bit of pink kind of dots so that they slowly start to kind of change. I'm still staying organized, but hopefully you can notice on there that they're sort of starting to fade away. And not every part of your picture has to be covered, right? It doesn't all have to be colored in. We just want it all to be thoughtfully designed. All right, here is my finished pop art portrait.